The more things change, the more they stay the same. In 2022, South Korea and the United States met in the grand final of the Osu World Cup. The United States won it handily. A year, 7 combined roster swaps later, the two teams met once more. Loading into the lobby 370 days ago, could these two have known what was going to happen? Could the spectators have known that they were about to witness the greatest grand final in the history of the Osu World Cup? And yet, once again, the United States won. This time it was only by the barest of margins, but history cares not for margins. History only cares for the name engraved on the trophy. And so the twice defeated South Korean team returned home once more, resigned to spend a year wondering what could have been, wondering how to fix what went wrong, wondering where they could find that extra 0.1% that it would have taken to change their fate. Meanwhile, the United States sat atop an increasingly uncomfortable throne. For the 6th year in a row, they were Osu World Cup champions, but the margins were getting smaller and the opposition was getting stronger. They refused to allow complacency to creep in and refused to rest on their laurels. Another year passed. The veterans trained more and more, determined to leverage their years of experience into a climb back to the top of the mountain. Meanwhile, new faces were emerging, rookies to the World Cup stage who made their presence known. As if mirror images of one another, these teams added a rookie to their rosters, onto whom the expectations of a nation would be placed. South Korea made waves by bringing on board a top player from a whole other country, while the United States brought back 2 former champions. And now we are here, seeing them meeting in the grand finals for the 3rd year in a row. For South Korea, it's the story of a team cast for so long as the underdogs, endlessly searching for glory, who now have finally become the favorites with their best ever chance at victory on the line. The United States, meanwhile, have written a legacy of nearly incomparable success. They've won 8 of the last 9 World Cups. They've been present now in 10 grand finals in a row. And they embody the sentiment that you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. They return to play spoiler one more time. Into the match, 2 teams enter, but only one will get to leave with the crown. And so we welcome you to the grand final of the 2024 Osu World Cup. I'm this one guy, and I am thrilled to be on the casting desk for this match, joined by 2 of my elite colleagues as we write the final chapter of the 2024 World Cup cycle. Please join me in welcoming back to the desk Shiba for another grand final, alongside Miles, who brings his wealth of map knowledge and tournament experience to the grand finals desk for the first time. Gentlemen, good evening.
Hello! It is a pleasure to be back on here, man. I mean, this has the, once again, equal potential to be one of the best damn displays of Osu we could ever possibly see. That speech was fire, T1G. That was absolute fire, and you've pumped me up like crazy. Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. The storylines cannot be even higher. We thought last year stakes were high, but this one even higher, considering how dominant South Korea have been throughout this whole tournament. But USA are the USA. Like I said last year, they are truly inevitable. This time, can they really keep that villain arc for the rest of the world up alive? Because, man, Miles, I don't know. I'm getting too giddy already.
Yeah, I mean, I have chills after that speech, T1G. That was insane. And that really sets the mood for the weight that this match holds. South Korea, they've been chasing it for so long. Their captain, Flying Tuna, remembers the most dominant year of the United States in 2019, where the USA swept them in the grand finals. And this is now, I believe, the 3rd time they've met since then. And they have the opportunity to do the unthinkable, to break the 6-time winning streak. And the United States, just coming up from that loser's bracket after a really tough match with Australia, the question is, do they have one more in them?
The United States has always been the team with all the answers. Year in and year out, right? They've been the ones to find a way to win. Team changes, map pool changes, whatever it has taken, they have found a solution. But you worry just a little bit this time around, don't you? Because this South Korea team, man, they were purpose-built for one thing and one thing only, and it's winning this tournament. And that means winning this match.
Yeah, I mean, the moment I saw this South Korean roster this year, it feels like it's like that for the last few years at this point, right? it always feels like the team that's closest to defeating the United States always seems so much stronger on paper. You always look at them initially and think, man, how do USA keep clawing it away? And you see it every year. We always doubt the USA skill ceiling. We always doubt how much experience the core that these players have, along with the explosive firepower and investment the rookies have, right? But this year, it seems more extreme than ever. The first words I see, what I think when I see the South Korean roster, is absolutely sickening. It is a complete super squad that could be seen capable of winning open ranked team tournaments, let alone the OS World Cup. Yeah, it's the same. Once again, you can never doubt the United States legacy. And I think last year I learned that more than ever, which always brings a little bit of excitement in my heart for this one.
And I mean, you can see United States, they've given up inches in other rounds of the tournament, losing in quarterfinals. They've lost in semifinals. Now this year they lost in the finals round for the first time during their dynasty, but they have yet to lose that grand finals stage since Poland in 2017. And now we are getting into the pick ban phase. United States choosing to pick second, South Korea choosing to ban first. So now we are getting into the ban phase. South Korea, the strategy into this United States team, I feel like it kind of flips on its shoulders the way that we saw through United States versus Australia last night, where United States, they were picking gimmick into Australia, USA banning the speed, South Korea gonna be banning the speed into this North American roster from the United States, probably gonna be banning out that DT2 and the DT3, leaving open the free mod 4 to be that remaining stamina pick. Unfortunately, getting some technical difficulties here.
Get that sorted out. There we are. You know, we await the South Korea first ban, and I think, you know, the strategy seems pretty crystallized in some aspects. And there indeed is the free mod 4 first ban for South Korea, right? Ooh. So exactly as you anticipated. Just attack that USA speed. Now that does mean either DT2 or DT3 will be left up, as will Nomad 5. So USA, I think, already probably has a good idea what their first two picks will likely be. And immediately, double ban, Nomad 2, Hidden 2, very planned out for that. Aim control, you know, some reading elements. Obviously, the Hidden 2, one of the hardest maps in the entire pool. Miles, to me, this is just them saying, we don't want worst HR player to 1v9 us.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the United States play that Nomad 2 last night. They actually picked it into Australia, but didn't look too good on it, actually losing that. That was one of Australia's breakpoints. But South Korea are going to ban out that DT3, so they're leaving open the stamina map in the double time pool. So Unmei no Dark Side, honestly, surprisingly making it through the ban phase. I thought they would leave open the free mod 4 because that's a stamina map that really plays to one of their players' strengths. I mean, we saw them win the speed map in free mod in bracket reset last year off of a really good performance from Karcher, but they don't opt into that this time. And now we have South Korea's first pick. They are choosing the first pick of the United States last night into Australia that they lost. And that's going to be Rubik's Cube by Halia.
And that map, we saw one of the plays of the entire tournament out of Sayo from Australia. Put up a 950k, just barely missed at the very end of the map in that match. One of the best plays we've seen at any moment in this entire World Cup. And it was a one-sided map, despite, you know, it being a United States pick. Australia really ran away with that one. So understandable, I think, for South Korea to be opting into that one here, right back into the USA. And, you know, I feel South Korea, right, they're going to pick into some pretty obvious places, I think, in this match. You know that worst HR player is better at what we call, you know, at this point, worst HR player maps than anyone else in the world. And so it's going to be a question of whether the United States has what it takes to answer some of those picks. And it's been a bit of a question mark for them whether or not they would actually be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game for this South Korean roster, their main core strength for the past few years has been in the gimmickier, techier, aim control heavy maps. But this year, I think they find a lot of their strength as well coming from the aim. You know, you bring Hyuk on the team, one of the best aim players in the game. I think that's really going to be the avenue that South Korea decides to take as we go further into this match against the US. But for now, after that Australia performance from the USA on this, I think this is a really smart pick for them. United States last night opting for the overmod of all time, along with Australia on this. Three-way hard rock on this map from Utami, Kama, and Rectigon with Taquito on the hidden. And with the current state of the roster in the lobby, I think we could expect to maybe see that again. with both Kama and Rectigon in the lobby, with Utami taking that top left slot for the USA.
And Utami felt like a little bit of a question mark last night. We saw him not in the lobby on some maps you would normally anticipate to be seeing him in for. So we'll see how the performance is tonight. Of course, our first time seeing South Korea on this pool. It's going to be, looks like, Flying Tuna, Forum, Karcher, Amamiya Kokoro in for this first pick for South Korea. And we are loading in here. The MP start comes out. Map number 1, Grand Finals 2024, South Korea, United States. This one is for all the marbles, and we are just gonna get underway.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen. All else I can really say is, are you friggin' ready? Because the Grand Finals begins now. South Korea, United States, El Clasico is here. Free mod 3 to start this off for South Korea. A flowing map with many unique cuts and sharp angles, tailor-made to test your aim control, and if you're running that normal and hidden, your reading ability as well. For South Korea, Hard Rock Overmod is present, same with the United States, a triple Hard Rock Overmod as well, from Utami, Kama, and Rectigon. Takedo sticking around with his signature hidden. But with Flying Tuna and Karcher sticking to their Hard Rocks on the side here. Where's the Child player on the Nomad? Namia Kokoro sticking on that hidden fill. You could potentially see a Where's the Child player also on this hidden, but seems like he's going to be sticking with that comfy Nomad. That carry play potential is going to be that strategy here for South Korea. Let that carry player be on the Nomad. And so far, quite a few early misses to start this off. Namia Kokoro on the hidden going down, traded by both Kama and Takedo. So early combat advantage is going to go in favor of South Korea for now.
Yeah, and we'll see how long they can hold that down with the double Hard Rock Overmod. It's going to be not long as Tuna Karcher both fall. Utami does trade. And now to fall is Amamiya Kokoro as well. Worst HR player has this map on his back for South Korea. But Rectigon holding for the United States, as is Kama. And they will pull this lead back over slowly. But no more. It is down to just Rectigon does have the mod advantage over worst HR player as the recovery combos start to come in into the flow section of Alta 9.
Here we go. These perfect stacks are very, very dangerous, especially with that Hard Rock applied. The accuracy could be a test. You have to be so much sharper, but reading as well on the hidden is harsh, and that's why Amamiya Kokoro is to go down. But it's still Wesley Child playing Rectigon to keep the combos going. USA have a slight recovery advantage, but it's still very tenuous here. It says Amamiya Kokoro. Takedo does go down low, and that's going to even it out. And Wesley Child playing Rectigon still have their full combos alive, alongside the recovery still going. This is extremely tenuous, and we are only going into the final third of the map. It is start to get to do or die straights on both sides. South Korea do not want to sacrifice this early breakpoint. Early misses as well. Look at this fall apart from Korea at the back gate, out of the very beginning of the map here. Flying Tuna Karcher and Kokoro immediately drop, and so does Worst HR player. That leads to the fall of Korea very quickly, as all that's left in the United States, despite the fall of many, stands Utami with that Hard Rock combo to keep the game going, to keep the win intact for United States. If any falls apart do come through towards the end, we could see a flip, but it seems like Utami's combo game is going to be what gives that lead in extreme margins. Even hitting the streams, may miss that square stream, but it seems to be just enough.
It looks like it will be. The lead that the United States were able to establish is just going to hold on into this ending. No real recovery combo of any import, and United States dropping this map badly last night. Tonight, have it picked right back into them, and they flip the script around. It is a big score from Rectigon. It is a big score from Utami. And just like they started off in the winner's final, the United States is going to open the grand final with a break point as well.
I mean, yeah, early scores against Australia seem to be just thrown out the window entirely. USA take down Korea on a map that I'd like to think we expected Korea to destroy on, but hey, USA once again proving last match doesn't mean much to them. They can just roll a whole new fresh play and destroy in different maps.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness. Rectigon and Utami, two massive performances from them, improvements from last night. And as you said, T1G, just like the winner's final, on a similar style of map even, very awkward, aim control heavy sort of alt map, United States going to take a break point, and one that I think is going to be very important for them in this matchup, as there's only so many speed maps for them to pick in this pool. After the ban phase with the DT3 and Free Mod 4 gone, they only really have the No Mod 5, the DT2, and maybe the DT4 if you want to stretch that with its finger control to rely upon in terms of the high mechanics. But now it's their first pick. Gonna see if they can consolidate this breakpoint. I think after an early breakpoint, you want to go for a pick that is very solidified in your favor. And for them, that skill set over the last few years has been that stamina, and they have that DT2 staring them in the face.
Yeah, I like the DT2 a lot here as well. You've got Window Life, you've got Rectigon, you've got Utami, you've got players who are so strong in that skill set. And as you said, getting that early consolidated breakpoint would be so huge here for USA, but it's going to be the Nomad 5 instead. So it's still going to be a speedy map, it's still going to be a high BPM pick, but it's going to be in the Nomad pool. It's going to incorporate some aim and some tech elements rather than just being pure stamina.
I still think this is a really good type of map for the USA. We saw them win this in a breakpoint last night against Australia, and they also brought in one of their hardest hitting rosters, in my opinion, with Rectigon, Utami, Window Life, and Taquito. You've got 4 players who have arguably been the most impressive on their team in the last year in open rank tournaments. And just having all 4 of those guys in for any map is just so valuable for the United States in this matchup.
Yeah, to me, you know, I think both teams want to operate in a similar sense of picking a core roster and trying to work around that with your picks. Both these teams, I think, kind of best known for a 4 or 5 man core roster that they tend to utilize most, with the others filling in as needed on their particular skill sets. And those are the players who you can rely on map in and map out to carry. And this is the type of map where the USA is going to get those players. And it's one where for South Korea, some of their key members may struggle a little bit with the requirements of the mechanics on the map.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the roster in the lobby right now, I mean, we know worst HR player, that guy, he'll say he's not that good at tapping, but I mean, his performance really says otherwise. Like, I just remember last year when he FC'd Blue Zenith Hard Rock. I know that in his locals on Wind God Girl, this guy has a double-tapped 700k, so do not underestimate Worst HR player's ability to mash through speed, as well as Hyuk. But we're going to see Fragrance of Page come in for his first map for South Korea. He's been the newcomer for them that I think has been really a revelation on the mechanically intensive maps, has been so good for them, and I think is a really scary player to look at if you're a United States fan in this matchup. But Flying Tuna in the top left as well. They're going to be contending for this Nomad 5 pick against this hard-hitting United States roster, and here we go.
Yeah, this is a big question mark pick for me. You know, you can look at this on paper and think, yeah, USA, objectively, the stronger mechanics team generally, but I feel like with this level, it's 285 VPM, but it's very bursty and doesn't have many elements of raw stamina. And Flying Tuna and Fragrance of Page in particular, very powerful raw speed players, very much capable of hitting some of these crazy rapid bursts that takes place here on the map. And so with this Oats original by XH, mapped by Selena, not only a headbanger, but one that could be a very exciting turn away if we see something special come through. Early breaks to come through only from the side of Fragrance of Page or South Korea, and Taquito for the USA.
It's a matter of kind of settling in a little bit, I think, on a map like this, right? You're going into 285 BPM with a very, very high mechanically demanding style of mapping. So we'll see how everyone feels, and so far so good for 6 out of the 8 members of these rosters, and the other 2 recovering well. Page and Taquito both doing fine since the early breaks. Nothing in this one at all, under 5,000 points, separating them at the 1/4 mark. But some of these linear patterns can trip you up. The sliders can trip you up. Anything in a map like this can catch you out if you are not perfectly careful.
Control is about to hit a ramp up as well. These sliders in Control could end up tripping on the aim. The aim is very prevalent on this, but it doesn't seem like anybody from either side is letting this trip them up yet. The raw speed is about to kick in though. Second half of this difficult section has a lot more burst and a lot more mechanics, and YSHR player drops first blood. Same with Hyuk. South Korea down 2 combos. Flying Tuna to join. Fragrance of Page next on the line. Korea slaughtered on this speed section, and it's the United States with 3 combos still alive. Only Rectigon, I believe, to have fallen down on the sliders, but USA now sees the break. They see all that information, and out of nowhere, it's gone from a tight-knit fight to 2 massive combos against nothing from South Korea.
This is Taquito and Utami's time to shine, and Window Life backing them up with the recovery combo as well. Absolute worst case scenario in that section of the map for South Korea, with all 4 members falling. And we'll see how long Taquito and Utami can keep it going, because this lead will continue to grow with those two and the backing support from the other members. Takedo does fall, but it's a double reset for South Korea as Paige and Hyuk fall as well. And this lead 400,000 points, Shiba, looking good for the United States here on their opening pick.
It just seems like there's no hope really here for Korea. Every single time there's a slight combo bit up to a small degree, a little bit of speed hits you hard, and it ends up leading to an unexpected collapse, to be honest. Utami's combo may go down finally, but still a score very much more than high enough to solidify this victory here for the United States. A valiant effort towards the start, but once that mechanics really started to kick in, we were thinking that Korea might be able to pull something. We've seen magic, like Miles said previously, of West HR player on that Wingard Girl double tap potential with Fragrance of Page and Tuna as well. Huge improvements on the speed, but it seems to be not enough on a map like this. 285 BPM seems to be a little too quick for the Koreans, and in turn, USA punish accordingly. 700,000 score from Utami, out succeeding his score by over 100,000 with solid scores all around from both an S rank on Window Life and 500 and 450k from Rectagon respectively.
Look at that, I mean, from Window Life, man, 98.
Wow, S rank as well. The speed section just really claiming Korea on that. You can tell from the accuracies. Worst HR player and Hyuk both dropping so low on the accuracy because of the speed section. But now pick goes back to them. They're able to stabilize here, and one strategy that I really want South Korea to go for in this match, I want them to pick aim into the United States team. That's a skill set that Australia was really exposing them on last night, and that's one that I think that they could probably definitively win in this match if they pick it. Two good options for them coming out of the gate, I think, are the Hidden One and the Free Mod 1. That Free Mod 1 being the dense aim map, and Hidden One as well to some extent, but both of which should be very good for South Korea.
To me, it almost feels like South Korea has a bigger advantage on raw aim than on about any other skill set. I know we talk a lot about the things that Worst HR player can do on those reading and aim control maps, but South Korea as an aim team is unparalleled in this tournament with the roster they put together this year. And there you go, Miles. They pick into that Hidden One just as you expected.
Yeah, and I mean, the United States, they're kind of sneaky good on the aim control this year, you notice. Like, they took that break point on them in finals. They just took another break on a big aim control pick. They beat Australia basically off of the aim control and tech maps in the pool, winning just about all of them in that matchup. So makes me really scared to see South Korea picking that early. I feel like it's a skill set that they need to pick into eventually in this match. But if you're looking at raw numbers here, I think the aim is going to be a more consistent skill set for them to win in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, when you put together Hyuk, you put together Forum, you put together Fragrance of Page, you put together Flying Tuna, you have such an insane aim roster. The raw aim was something that South Korea really obliterated, frankly, the United States on in that winner's bracket final as well. The Nomad one, especially maps of that type, which, again, we have a big full-screen jump Nomad one this week as well that they can look into. I almost feel like that might be the best skill set for them to opt into in this match. We talked beforehand, earlier this afternoon, right, about the fact that United States could have considered, and maybe did consider, banning out some aim because this skill set has worked so well for South Korea over the course of this tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing that also plays to the favor of the United States is their overall skill cap, and the fact that I think some of the hardest maps in this map pool are some of those aim control related maps where, yeah, in South Korea, you might have the strongest player in the lobby in Worst HR player, but United States could probably have the better supporting scores on those types of maps, and I think that probably played into the decision for leaving Free Mod 2 open, that anti-mod map, with a lot of brutal aim control. And here we go, into the Hidden One.
Into the Hidden One, indeed. It's going to be Hyuk, Page, Tuna, Forum, Takedo, Rectagon, Decade, and Utami. A strong roster, to be sure, for the United States. But South Korea picking into this skill set, you know they are expecting great things from all four members of that roster. And they need to